I'm Dr. Erik Johnson, a fish health veterinarian in Marietta, Georgia, coming to you on behalf of Koi Beginner, brought to you by aquameds.com. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 mistakes made by fish keepers, and we're going to bring them up from 10th to 1st. It's a lot of material to cover, so I won't cover each point in that much detail, and if there's something vague or unclear, you should check it out on pondcrisis.com or koicrisis.com or aquameds.com for clarification. Let's get started. The 10th most common mistake made by pond fish keepers is a failure to cover the facilities. Koi are especially good at jumping, and their jumping is directly proportional to their cost. If a fish is very expensive, its odds of jumping are that much higher. Always net a facility or quarantine tank or the fish will jump out and likely die. When you put a fish in the pond for the first time, be vigilant for the first day or two to make sure the fish doesn't try and escape to dry land. It's always a fail, but they don't figure that out till it's too late. The 9th most common mistake made by koi keepers is learning too late. This refers to the common habit of keeping koi and never wondering about what you would do if a fish got sick, and then scrambling at the last minute to learn everything you might want to know about sickness far too late to really help. Pond Crisis and koicrisis.com are quick reads that might get some of the basic points across before you actually need them. The 8th most common mistake pond fish keepers make is taking bad advice. If the advice you're getting on fish illness does not start with the recommendation to check your water quality, run, don't walk away. All fish disease illness cases begin with water quality testing because at least 60% of fish disease can be explained by high ammonia or low pH. 60%. Just because you have YouTube video or an esteemed position on a koi forum does not make you an expert. Sometimes the people who know the most have the best questions. Check out people's credentials before putting your pond fish under their guardianship. Make sure they even have a pond. The seventh most common mistake pond fish keepers make is overfeeding. The problem is not bursting the fish or making them explode, but the fact that bad water and pollution are a result of feeding so much. This is a very common problem. You should feed your pond fish once or twice a day and only feed what they're interested in eating over a 5-minute period. Over-medicating is the 6th most common mistake pond fish keepers make. This occurs on 3 levels. First, overdosing is common, and that kills a mess of fish. Second, dosing for no good reason, principally because water was polluted and there was no bug to be treated at all. So the fish were treated unnecessarily. If they tested their water first, those treatments might have been skippable. Finally, over-medication occurs when somebody expects fish to be normal the day after medicine is applied, so they change medicines and add even more. The failure to change water is the 5th most common mistake made by koi keepers. People think that adding new water to the pond whenever the water level goes down due to a small leak or evaporation is the actual water change, but it's not. Good fish keepers usually change about 10% of the water every week. I like to run a tiny trickle of new water into my tanks and ponds so I never have to drain and fill them in a formal water change. That's called constant water replacement or trickle system, and it's awesome. It's described in drjohnson.com. Crashes in pH kill a lot of fish in the United States. People don't check the pH or the carbonates that support it. If they did, they would never lose a fish to pH crash. If you need to know more about pH and crashes, you should check out pondcrisis.com. It's dealt with pretty thoroughly there. But people should check their pH or alkalinity at least on a weekly basis, and it should be the first water test run when fish look ill. At number 3, we have failure to quarantine. This means that fish are purchased and put directly into your pond or tank without any waiting period to see if they come with free diseases. The quarantine is basically a waiting room where fish can be observed and even treated for potential diseases. Of course, it's better to use a microscope and see if the fish have parasites, but then bacterial issues can sneak past even that. So keeping the fish in the largest possible quarantine is a good idea. Keep them there for at least 2 weeks. If you want to use treatments, which I often do, in the quarantine, there's some good ideas on my websites. I often like to use some salt and medicine for flukes. Medicated food also helps. The 2nd most common mistake pond keepers make is overcrowding. And there's 3 things I want to say on that. First, crowding isn't that bad, but the effects on water pollution are. Crowding pushes all those water quality buttons and makes keeping fish healthy more difficult. Second, How many fish should I have? Answer, it's not a number of fish. It's a number of inches of fish per 10 gallons of water. For pond fish, I recommend about 1 inch of fish length per 10 gallons of water. Let the arguing begin. But that is what I recommend. Finally, remember that your fish grow every year. A koi in great water with plenty of space and food grows 1 inch per month. If you have a 2-year-old fish that's only 6 inches long, chances are you missed something. Not only that, but they reproduce, and they can add foot after foot of biomass to the pond. Consider all those little inches too. I always say, if you don't cull your fish, Mother Nature will do it for you, and she'll take your best fish. Finally, we're around to number 1 most common mistake made by fish keepers the world over is the failure to test water. When fish are sick, it is the first thing you should do when fish are sick, no matter how they look, no matter what. Check the pH, check the ammonia, check the nitrite, and check nitrate. Nitrate is very important. And increase aeration. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Look for a new video every week. Subscribe to this video series by YouTube and check out the consultation form at aquameds.com. Till we meet again, be good to your koi and your pond fish.